Hello, word nerds. Welcome to the dictionary. My name is Spencer, and this is episode G60, and we're going to talk about some words. And I hit my elbow right before I started recording. That did not feel good. Okay, so we are starting with the word gestaltist. Gestaltist, 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 gestaltist. Gestaltist. At the end of the previous episode, we had the word gestalt. Let's go backwards in time to listen to that. The word gestalt is a structure, configuration, or pattern of physical, biological, or psychological phenomena so integrated as to constitute a functional unit with properties not derivable by summation of its parts. It was saying that, that the whole is more than the sum of the parts, or something about the difference between the whole and the parts and all those sorts of things. I don't remember. It's been a while since I recorded. So, what is a gestaltist? It is a noun, often capitalized, from 1931. It is a specialist in Gestalt psychology, which is our next word. And I need to make a sound effect, and my sound effect is going to bleep, 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 bleep. What is the sound effect? Bleep, bleep. That's fine. Man, it is so warm in here. I'm going to go turn on the fan. Okay, so what is Gestalt psychology? Noun from 1924. The study of perception and behavior from the standpoint of an individual's response to configurational wholes, WHOLES, with stress on the uniformity of psychological and physiological events and rejection of analysis into discrete events of stimulus, percept, like perception, and response. And of course, I did not understand what that said. All right, let's see if we can do a little bit of a quick lookup. I do believe I had mentioned or found Gestalt psychology in the previous episode, and so maybe I already talked about this. Yes, I believe I did. School of thought emphasizing that the human brain perceives experiences as holistic, organized configurations rather than sums of individual parts. And boy, I'm sure this gets real deep, and let's put a link in the show notes for Gestalt psychology, because man, I'm sure there's a lot of stuff in there, and the dictionary can only tell you a little bit. Bleep bleep. Next we have Gestapo. Gestapo is a noun from 1934. It is a secret police organization employing underhanded and terrorist methods against persons suspected of disloyalty. So if they think this was in, now it doesn't say where it's from, but we can look at the etymology. It's German. So they were like, we don't think that you are loyal to your country, so we are going to do some very, very bad things to, I don't know, arrest you, hurt you, murder you. I don't know what they would do, but they did underhanded and terrorist methods. Not great. Don't love that. So yes, this is German from, let's see. So it's taking 3 sections from 2 words. It is the GE from geheim, then it's the STAPO, but broken up into 2 sections from Stadt Polizei. So the STA from Stadt and the PO from Polizei, which of course I don't think I'm pronouncing that correctly. And that literally means secret state police. So it's just a shortened version of secret state police, because saying Geheimstaatspolizei was very long, even for the Germans to say. They said, we can't say that whole phrase every time we want to talk about the secret state police. We got to just say Gestapo. And there you go. That's how you have the word Gestapo now. Much easier to say. Thank you for that. Not a great organization, from what I understand. Don't love it. 1 star, would not be arrested again. Bleep bleep. Next is gestate. gestate verb from 1858. It is, first we have transitive, number 1. To carry in the uterus during pregnancy. I'm just going to carry you in my uterus during pregnancy. I will take you around and carry you around in my uterus. Yes, it's correct, but I think it's funny to use the word carry there in your uterus, like you're carrying groceries. Where are you going to store your groceries? In my uterus. Oh, you're gestating. Congratulations. Number 2, to conceive and gradually develop in the mind. So this is just taking the idea of developing something in the uterus when you are pregnant. And then you take it to the next idea it's not just a living thing in the uterus. It's an idea in the mind. Oh, I'm gestating it. I'm thinking about it. I'm working on it. I'm making it. I'm evolving it. You're gestating. You're gestating your idea in the mind, and then maybe you should write it down. That's probably a good idea. Intransitive is to be in the process of gestation. So that could be the baby, the fetus, or the idea. It is gestating because it's in the process of gestation, which we will talk about in a second. But this word gestate is just a back formation of gestation. So let's move on to that and hopefully learn some more etymology. Bleep, bleep. Now we have gestation, noun from 1615. Number 1, the carrying of young in the uterus, and the synonym is pregnancy. You're in a state of gestation. You're doing gestation. You've got some gestation going on. Number 2, conception and development, especially in the mind. So, of course, this is the noun opposed to the first one that we had, which is the verb. The action of gestating. Gestational is an adjective. And this word is from the Latin verb, would it be gestare or gestare? That means to bear, like bearing children, having them, creating them, growing them. It is from gerere or gerere, which also means to bear, just a slightly different word. So why do they have two words? Two words that mean the same thing? I don't know. But yes, it just comes from to bear. So, do we have more? I believe that those are all of our gestation words. Am I gestating anything? I seem to always have some sort of idea in my mind of maybe a short film or a feature-length film or something else. I always have them in my mind, but I always hit a roadblock, which mostly is just my time. So I write them all down whenever I can. I'm like, ooh, I got a bunch of ideas, and I write it all down, and then I don't have time to really dig into it and fully write it out. Also because I don't have a lot of writing skills, so maybe I need some assistance in that. But I'm gestating hundreds of ideas that will probably never see the light of day. Bleep, bleep. Now we have the word jest, and if you remember, in the previous episode, we also had the word jest, G-E-S-T, or G-E-S-T-E, but now we have jest, G-E-S-T-E, or G-E-S-T. Is this exactly the same? And then they just put both entries in here? I'm not so sure. So let me remind you of the first one that we have, jest. From the previous episode, it is a tale of adventures, a romance in verse, adventures, exploits. So what is this one that is more often spelled with the E, I guess? It is a noun from the 14th century. Number 1 is archaic. The synonym is deportment. Is that like sending something away? Number 2 is also archaic, and the synonym is gesture. Like making gestures, doing a gesture. Oh, what a nice gesture you did when you held the door open for me. and then people just keep on walking through and don't take the door from you. So, this is from the Latin verb gerere, which we just saw means to bear. And what was the etymology of the original one? Middle English jest doesn't really say much, but there's more at the word jest with a J. But I think of deportment as like, yeah, sending something away. Is there another? There's probably more definitions than what I'm thinking of, or I'm just completely wrong, which is entirely possible. But if you're sending somebody away, deporting, then maybe they're going on an adventure, which brings us back to the first version of this word. So, yeah, but it seems like jest with an E or maybe no E is not being used because both definitions are archaic, both synonyms are archaic. So if I hear you using this word, I shall call you up and say, you can't do that. One more, this is a warning. But if you use this word again, I'm calling the Gestapo on you. Bleep, bleep. Next we have gestic. I think this might be related. It is an adjective from 1764 relating to or consisting of bodily movements or gestures. Look at me. I'm a gestic person. I'm so gestic because it's relating to my bodily movements. Now, let's keep on going down this train, this choo-choo train of gestures. Bleep, bleep. Gesticulant. Gesticulant. Ugh, I got some where can you get the gesticulant roller? There's too many gestures over here. We got to roll off the gesticulant. Adjective from 1877. Making gesticulations. That's it. Just making gesticulations. Are you making gesticulations? Are these gesticulations? I'm gesticulant. The example sentence is, the little wiry man gesticulant and wild. That is a quote from William Faulkner. Let's see if we can find where this quote came from. The little wiry man gesticulant and wild. Ooh, I want to see who was this man? Who was this gesticulant and wild man? It looks like it is from The Wild Palms. The Wild Palms by William Faulkner. Published in 1939. In The Wild Palms, subsequently titled If I Forget Thee, Jerusalem, he interweaves two stories. In the story, Wild Palms, it's New Orleans, 1937. A man and a woman embark on a headlong flight into the wilderness of illicit passion, fleeing her husband and the temptations of respectability. In the story, Old Man, the setting is Mississippi 10 years earlier, where a convict sets forth across a flooded river, risking his own chance at freedom to rescue a pregnant woman. So he intertwines them, and it's called The Wild Palm. So who was the gesticulant man? Who was the gesticulant man? Wiry and wild. Okay, that's it. So if you are making gesticulations, you are gesticulant. And what are gesticulations? Well, we're going to get there, but first we got to talk about the verb gesticulate. This is an intransitive verb from circa 1609. To make gestures, especially when speaking. I think I am definitely gesticulant in this way. I gesticulate. I use my hands a lot, I think, when I talk, and sometimes I knock over glasses of water at a table or maybe even my cocktail. That's even worse. I have never done that? No. Yeah, when I'm talking, moving my hands, you see it happen. Let's keep it going. I should do lots of gesticulating over here and then sometimes down there and up around. Gesticulative, that is an adjective. Gesticulator, that is a noun. Oh no, here comes the gesticulator. He can't stop moving his hands. Watch out grab your glasses when the gesticulator comes around. Maybe also don't let him talk so he won't gesticulate. Gesticulatory, that is an adjective. This word is from the Latin gesticulatus. That is from the verb gesticulare, which is from gesticulus, which is the diminutive of gestus or gestus, but it doesn't say what that means. So many fun words that I don't know what they are. Let's go to the translate. I mean, we could probably figure out a little bit of what this means. Gestus, is that the word that I'm looking up? Gestus, at Latin, yes. Oh, it translates to gestures. And then let's look up the word. What was the gesticulare? Gesticulare. It thinks it's Corsican, but it's translating it pretty accurately. I want to go to the Latin, and it means to gesticulate. That's really all it is. That makes sense. That's kind of what I figured, but I wanted confirmation. I need confirmation all the time. Okay, so that was gesticulate, and now we go to gesticulation, noun from the 15th century. Number 1, the act of making gestures. All the gestures. What are some of your favorite gestures? Do you have some? We're going to talk about the word gesture soon. Maybe we can hold off on that for a second. Number 2, the synonym is just gesture. So the number 1 was the making of the gestures is a gesticulation, and then the gestures themselves are also gesticulations. It's a lot easier of a word to say, I think, gesture, instead of gesticulation. But especially, for number 2, we have especially an expressive gesture made in showing strong feeling or in enforcing an argument. So it's not just random gestures that are considered gesticulations. More often, when you are talking about gesticulations as gestures, they have a very important, a very expressive meaning behind them. Maybe when I'm moving my hand this way, I'm trying to get a point across. Showing strong feeling or in enforcing an argument. I'm trying to enforce an argument. I'm trying to do things that are enforcing what I'm saying. So those are gesticulations. I feel so strongly about this thing. Gesticulation. Bleep, bleep. Next is gestural or gestural. Gestural? Gestural. Adjective from 1613. Number 1, of relating to or consisting of gestures. That person's speech is gestural because it consists of gestures. 2, of relating to or characterized by vigorous application of paint and expressive brushwork, as in the example, gestural expressionism. So we're talking about art here. What is an example of gestural art? Let's see. Example of that's our word, right? Gestural art. Maybe I should look up painting. Right off the bat, I think of Jackson Pollock, because vigorous application of paint. I believe Jackson Pollock was vigorously creating his art. Gestural painting or action painting is a style where paint is applied with free, sweeping, and energetic movements, emphasizing the physical act of creation to express inner emotions. Iconic examples include, here we go, Jackson Pollock's number 32, 1950, which was poured and also direct paint. Also, William de Kooning's Woman 1. Lots of examples here. Jackson Pollock is known for using house paint and sticks to drip, pour, and splash paint onto canvas, such as in the example from 1946 called Freeform. William de Kooning was characterized by violent, energetic brushstrokes, particularly in his Woman series. And so I should probably put maybe 1 or 2 or 4 pictures on the social media of some of this gestural art, some examples of this. Yeah, looks very cool. Very busy in many of these examples, but it's part of the point of it seems about getting your body into uh, movement to help create the art, the painting, whatever it is. So it's not necessarily just, oh, I'm just going to move my fingers and my hand and wrist and maybe elbow, maybe my whole arm, but maybe you're like getting your whole body involved in this, which I think that's very fun. Very fun indeed. Gestural. Okay, let's see. Anything else we got? Gesturally is an adverb. And moving on to bleep bleep. Gesture, first form, noun from the 15th century. This is number 1, which is archaic. The synonyms are carriage and bearing. So I wonder if that's related to, it's archaic, so I wonder if it's related to gestating, because it says you're bearing something. Carriage makes me think of carrying. This is the noun, so there's also the carriage when you take a ride with the horses, a carriage ride through Central Park. Is that a gesture? This is old. Number 2 is a movement, usually of the body or limbs, that expresses or emphasizes an idea, sentiment, or attitude. How do you express your attitude? What's your attitude? My attitude is sassy. So what would be a gesture for sassy? I don't know. I don't know. Sassy might be, interesting. That's a very interesting point you're making. Number 3 is the use of motions of the limbs or body as a means of expression. Just expressing yourself with your limbs. I prefer to express myself with my toes. People don't usually see or understand what I'm trying to say fully because I'm expressing my gestures with my toes, but they're usually in shoes, so people don't get to see them. Number 4, something said or done by way of formality or courtesy as a symbol or token, or for its effect on the attitudes of others. The example is a political gesture to draw popular support, and that is a quote from V.L. Parrington. So, the example sentence helped me. Sometimes my brain shuts down a little bit when I'm reading these, but I understand. So, I will reread this for myself, but maybe also for you. Maybe it'll help. Something said or done by way of formality or courtesy as a symbol or token, or for its effect on the attitudes of others. Like, the example sentence is good. A political gesture to draw popular support. You want some support? Maybe you should do something politically to make as a token of your appreciation of, yes, but also you want the support. So, what are some other gestures? Not literally using your body to express, but it's like a here. Let me show you how I feel about you. That is a gesture of whatever. Maybe I will pay for the meal. Maybe I will hold the door open. Maybe I will pay off your loans. Money can be a gesture, but not all the time. Lots of other examples of gestures. I don't know. What's your favorite example of one of those gestures? This word is from the Middle Latin gestura or gestura, which means mode of action. From the Latin gestus, from the verb gerere, we all learned about that, was to bear. So that's why the number 1 definition is there, which meant carriage or bearing, but it's archaic. So I guess I need an example sentence of how this word was used in that context. That's what I need. Bleep bleep. The second form of gesture is a verb from 1542. First is intransitive, which means to make a gesture. And then transitive is to express or direct by a gesture. Hmm. 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 What's the difference? I don't know. And now we will get to our very last word for this episode. Bleep, bleep. It's gesture language. 2 words, noun from 1855. It is communication by gestures, but especially, oh, there's a thing stuck to my finger. The synonym is sign language, and it is called also gestural language. Wait, but that's what the term. Oh, not gesture language, but gestural language. It is also called that. So, yes, sign language. You're using gestures with your hands to communicate. It's a language that a lot of people aren't aware of. I was just hearing a couple of people talk on a podcast about how they want to learn sign language and how that is probably very important for most of us to learn, and I agree. I think that we should all be at least have access to learn it because it's just another way to communicate. It's also just going to help your brain create more pathways in there. That's not a bad thing. So gesture language. Ooh, are people using this? How does the deaf community feel about this term? Oh, let's just look that up. We have all of knowledge in the world at my fingertips. What does the deaf community think of the term gesture language? Thinking. The deaf community generally dislikes or finds the term gesture language dismissive as it reduces complex, this makes perfect sense, as it reduces complex, structured sign language to simple, formal pantomime. While gestures are used in communication, they are not the same as the conventionalized grammatical signs that constitute a fully developed language. Yes, so the signs, the movements that they're doing with their hands are words, concepts, and the word gesture makes it feel like, oh, you're just moving your hands in certain ways, and it doesn't have the meaning that sign language has. So I think that makes perfect sense, and we're not using this anymore, so don't use that. Scratch it out. All right, we did all the words. We did them all. Let's pick a word of the episode. We had today gestaltist, Gestalt psychology, Gestapo, gestate, gestation, jest, gestic, gesticulant, gesticulate, gesticulation, gestural, gesture, and gesture language. So, most of these were related to gesturing. So because it is a fun word to say, I guess I shall pick gesticulation as the word of the episode. Gesticulation, moving your hands and your limbs and your arms and your legs and your toes and your fingers and your nose. Gesticulation. Oh, man. Where's my Grammy? Okay, let's talk about more movies. Okay. This one, so silly. A group of us went to the theater. Was this the Music Box? I believe it was. Of course it was. We went to see Showgirls. They had a screening of Showgirls, and we said, yes, we're going to watch that with a big group of people because we ain't never done that. And, oh boy, if you're going to watch that movie, that's the way to do it because it is a ridiculous movie and fun and silly and, yeah, watch it with a crowd. That's the way to do it. I had only seen it once before on my laptop in a hotel room because somebody said, we just watched it. You got to watch it because we had never seen it before. I said, okay, I'll watch it. Then the next movie I watched, I'm doing 2 for you because I gotta get semi caught up here. The next one I watched was Primate. This was the new horror movie where, well, a chimp gets rabies. I don't think that's a spoiler. I think they make that pretty clear early on. The chimp is a family member. It has been with them since it was a baby, and they live in this very remote area. And I don't know how people feel about this. Well, okay, I really liked it. I think it is totally worth a watch. I thought from the previews that the chimp was fully CGI, and I didn't know how I felt about that. But then I realized it is largely practical effects. A person in a costume wearing a mask, very good costume and mask. I'm sure that there's plenty of CGI, but it seemed like they really utilized a lot of practical effects, which made me very, very happy. Um, and it felt like it was just really well done, and things made sense. Like the choices that the characters made. That's one of the problems I have with horror movies, is that a lot of times they don't do things in the real world how we would be doing them. Horror movie is, I think, so successful. The most successful ones are when uh, it's realistic and how those people would react in that ridiculous situation. Whether the situation is real or not doesn't matter. But to me, at least, it feels better when they're reacting in a real way, and that's how I felt about this one. And it's it's suspenseful and scary, and I don't love that it is putting an ape in this light, but also there's an explanation for it. It got rabies, so that sucks. Okay, on that note, if you enjoy horror movies, then I think you should watch that. And then you can lighten the mood with Showgirls. Great double feature, I think. Don't you think? That's what they've been saying. They've been telling me for years. Primate and Showgirls are a wonderful double feature. All right. Both have a pool. Okay, on that note, let's end this episode. Thank you so much for checking out this show. Go do the Patreon for very cheap, and watch this on YouTube, and email me, leave me a voicemail, follow me on social media. All that information is in the show notes. Thank you so much, and until next time, this is Spencer dispensing information. Goodbye.